Iran just publicly humiliated Donald Trump on state television. An Iranian military spokesman appeared on camera and said, quote, "The Americans are negotiating with themselves. We're not at the table. They're talking to empty chairs and calling it diplomacy." This came the same day the Pentagon quietly revealed 290 U.S. troops have been injured in this war. Not killed, injured, burns, shrapnel wounds, traumatic brain injuries. 290 American service members hurt, while Trump claims the war is won and peace talks are progressing. Iran says no talks exist. Trump says talks are productive and American troops keep getting injured. This is Strategic Signal Report. I'm Sarah Mitchell. Next 10 minutes, what Iran actually said, why they're mocking Trump publicly, the 290 injured troops the Pentagon didn't want to talk about, and what happens when your enemy laughs at you on television. Let's go. Let me show you exactly what Iran said because every word was deliberate. Iranian military spokesman Brigadier General Abul Faisal Shakarki appeared on Press TV, Iran's English-language state broadcaster. He spoke directly to the camera in fluent English targeting an American audience. Quote, "We keep hearing about negotiations from Washington. President Trump announces talks. His officials brief the media about progress. But there's a problem. We're not negotiating. We never asked to negotiate. So who is America negotiating with?" He paused for effect, then delivered the line, "The Americans are negotiating with themselves. They're sitting at a table talking to empty chairs and calling it diplomacy. This is not negotiation. This is theater." Iranian state media ran the clip on loop for 24 hours. They added graphics showing Trump at a negotiating table with empty chairs across from him. They showed clips of Trump announcing peace progress intercut with Iranian officials denying any talks exist. This wasn't just a statement. This was a coordinated information warfare campaign designed to humiliate the President of the United States in front of a global audience, and it's working because the facts support Iran's version. Let me walk you through Trump's peace talk claims versus reality. March 22nd, Trump posts on Truth Social that the U.S. and Iran held productive conversations. He announces 5-day freeze on power plant strikes. March 23rd, Trump says major points of agreement reached, names J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner as participants. New York Times reports 15-point peace framework sent to Tehran through Pakistan. Iran's response same day. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf posts publicly that no negotiations of any kind have taken place. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi tells CBS News Iran never requested ceasefire. March 24th, Trump announces pause extended. Says Iran wants peace but needs to save face. Iran's response, IRG-affiliated media warns special plans being prepared for Tel Aviv to remove any hope of negotiation from minds of aggressors. March 25th, Trump says breakthrough imminent, peace within days. Iran's response launches Wave 79. Ballistic missiles hit Tel Aviv. Cluster munitions kill for Israelis. March 26th, Iranian military spokesman appears on television and says Americans are negotiating with themselves. So who's telling the truth? The country launching missiles or the country claiming peace talks while deploying 7,000 more troops? Now let me tell you about the casualties the Pentagon didn't want to discuss. For 3 weeks, Pentagon briefings reported no U.S. combat deaths in the Iran conflict. Technically true, 0 American service members killed in action. But that's not the whole story. Yesterday, under questioning from reporters, Pentagon Press Secretary acknowledged 290 U.S. military personnel have been injured since operations began February 28. 290, burns from drone strikes on bases, shrapnel wounds from missile attacks, traumatic brain injuries from explosions, smoke inhalation, blast concussions, orthopedic injuries from taking cover during attacks. Most injuries occurred at U.S. bases in Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, and Bahrain that have been targeted by Iranian missiles and drones. Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq was hit multiple times. Al-Udeid in Qatar took drone strikes. Naval support activity Bahrain was targeted. The Pentagon classified most injuries as non-combat related because they occurred during defensive operations, not offensive missions. That's bureaucratic language to avoid admitting American troops are being injured by enemy fire. 10 of the 290 have been evacuated to Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany for serious injuries, including severe burns and traumatic brain injuries. Several may be medically retired due to permanent disability. 0 deaths, 290 injured, and Trump says the war is won. Let me explain why Iran chose to mock Trump publicly on state television. This is psychological warfare targeting multiple audiences simultaneously. Audience 1, the American public, Iran wants Americans to see their president being humiliated, creates doubt about leadership competence, undermines support for continued military operations. Audience 2, regional allies. Iran is demonstrating that America's claims of diplomatic progress are fiction, shows Arab states that aligning with Washington means aligning with a country that can't even get Iran to acknowledge peace talks exist. Audience 3, domestic Iranian population. The regime needs to project strength, showing Iranian officials mocking the U.S. president on television reinforces narrative that Iran is winning. Audience 4, Trump himself. Iran knows Trump is obsessed with media coverage and personal image. Public mockery is designed to provoke an emotional response that leads to strategic mistakes, and it's working on multiple levels. Arab mediators from Turkey, Qatar, and Oman have all confirmed that Iran has refused every ceasefire proposal. The 15-point framework Trump claims he sent to Tehran. Iranian officials say they never received it, or if they did, they didn't bother reading it. Pakistan, supposedly the intermediary, issued a statement saying they transmitted messages but cannot confirm Iran's government engaged with the content. So Trump is announcing peace frameworks. Iran is ignoring them or denying they exist. And Iranian television is showing the world that America is negotiating with itself. Here's what makes the mockery even more effective. Trump is claiming peace while deploying massive military force, the 82nd Airborne Division, 3,000 paratroopers heading to Middle East, the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, 2,200 Marines with amphibious assault capability, the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, another 2,200 Marines with F-35B fighters, combined ground force, 6,000 to 7,000 troops staging for offensive operations. Open-source intelligence shows Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 transport aircraft departing US bases over past 72 hours. That's Special Operations Forces moving into theater. You don't send elite paratroopers, amphibious Marines, and Special Operations Forces to a peace negotiation. You send them to seize territory. Multiple defense analysts have identified Karg Island as likely objective. That island processes 90% of Iran's oil exports. Taking it would cripple Iran's economy. So Trump says peace talks are productive while deploying invasion forces, and Iran is publicly laughing at the contradiction. The Iranian spokesman's follow-up comment, if America wants peace, why are they sending more soldiers? If they want negotiation, why are they staging for invasion? The answer is simple. They don't want peace, they want surrender, and they won't get it. Iran's mockery works because they hold leverage Trump doesn't have. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Iran declared it shut to American, Israeli, and Western allied shipping March 4th. 22 days later, it's still closed. 150 commercial vessels, including oil tankers, stalled in surrounding waters. 20% of global seaborne oil cannot flow through. Brent crude sitting above $100 per barrel. U.S. gas prices $3.84 per gallon. Iran has demonstrated they can mine the strait, jam GPS navigation, and sink ships if they choose. US intelligence confirmed at least a dozen Iranian limpet mines in the waterway. NATO allies refused Trump's request for naval coalition to forcibly reopen the strait. Japan declined, South Korea declined, Australia declined, so Iran controls the energy choke point. Trump has no international support to break the blockade, and Iran is mocking him for claiming diplomatic progress. Iran's calculus is simple. As long as they control the strait, they control oil prices. As long as they control oil prices, they inflict economic pain on America and Europe. As long as economic pain increases, domestic pressure on Trump increases. They don't need to win battles. They need to make the war too expensive politically and economically for America to sustain, and public mockery accelerates that process. 290 U.S. troops injured. But what about Iranian casualties? For 26 days, Iran refused to release death toll figures. Yesterday that changed. Iranian Health Ministry announced 1,750 Iranian military and civilian deaths since February 28. State media showed funerals for IRG members, Basij militia fighters, and civilians killed in airstrikes. 1,750 dead, 290 Americans injured. The casualty ratio heavily favors the United States in terms of deaths versus injuries. But Iran is framing this differently. Iranian media emphasizes martyrdom. Every funeral is shown on television. Families of the dead receive state honors. The narrative is sacrifice for resistance against American imperialism. American media barely mentions the 290 injured. Pentagon classified injuries as non-combat to minimize coverage. Families of injured troops told to stay quiet for operational security. So Iran publicizes their dead as heroes. America hides its injured as statistics. The information warfare advantage goes to Iran because they control their own narrative while Trump administration struggles to maintain theirs. So where does this go? Trump has painted himself into a corner. He's announced peace talks that don't exist. He's deployed troops while claiming victory. He's promised American people the war is ending while Iran keeps launching missiles. Iran has exposed the contradiction publicly. Now Trump has three bad options. Option 1. Admit no peace talks exist. Admit he was wrong. That's political suicide for a president who never admits mistakes. Option 2. Keep claiming talks are progressing. But every day Iran contradicts him looks worse, and when troops start dying instead of just getting injured, the lie becomes unsustainable. Option 3. Escalate massively. Hit Iran so hard they're forced to negotiate. But that risks spreading the war to entire region, spiking oil to $150 per barrel, crashing global economy. All three options are bad. Iran knows it. That's why they're mocking publicly. Meanwhile, the actual military situation deteriorates. Wave 79 hit Tel Aviv. Israeli air defenses conserving interceptors because stockpiles depleting. Cluster munitions getting through. American bases in Gulf taking repeated strikes. The war Trump says is escalating. The peace talks Trump says are progressing don't exist. The casualties Trump's Pentagon doesn't want to discuss keep mounting, and Iran is laughing at him on television. Iran just told the world that America is negotiating with itself, talking to empty chairs, conducting theater not diplomacy, 290 U.S. troops injured, 1,750 Iranians dead, Strait of Hormuz closed 22 days, oil prices above $100, gas $3.84 a gallon, 7,000. American troops deploying to theater, Special Operations Forces staging, Marines with amphibious assault capability moving into position. Trump claims peace talks progressing. Iran says no talks exist, and Iranian military spokesman mocks America on state television. You can't negotiate with someone who isn't at the table. You can't claim diplomatic victories when the other side publicly denies any contact. You can't send invasion forces while announcing peace. What do you think? Is Iran right that Trump is negotiating with himself? Or is this Iranian propaganda? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Strategic Signal Report. We're showing you the mockery mainstream media won't cover. For Strategic Signal Report, I'm Sarah Mitchell. Iran says America is talking to empty chairs, 290 troops injured, and Trump calls it victory. See you in the next one.